The most dangerous lie you were ever taught is that endurance equals virtue, that staying proves character, that walking away is weakness. This lie has cost more futures than failure ever did. Right now, there are environments slowly eroding your instincts, places where your empathy is being converted into access for others, where your patience is interpreted as permission, where your loyalty is exploited as a renewable resource. You have been trained to believe that leaving is cruel, that abandoning broken systems makes you selfish, others is a moral duty. That belief is not noble, it is a psychological kill switch. In every era, power does not destroy the weak first. It consumes the generous, the patient, the ones who stay too long hoping things will improve. Machiavelli never warned about enemies alone. He warned about environments, because environments shape behavior faster than intention ever could. By the end of this journey, you will no longer cling to places that feed on you. You will understand that walking away is not escape, it is selection. It is the moment prey stops bleeding and predators lose interest. Number one is the place where you are constantly misunderstood on purpose. This is not innocent miscommunication. This is a psychological environment where your words are selectively interpreted, where your intentions are distorted, and where your clarifications are used against you. The threat here is subtle and deeply corrosive. Humans do not misunderstand repeatedly by accident. When an environment benefits from keeping you confused, defensive, or apologetic, misunderstanding becomes a control mechanism. You explain yourself, they reframe. You clarify, they question your tone. You defend, they accuse you of overreacting. Over time, you internalize the confusion. You begin to doubt your articulation, your judgment, even your perception. Machiavelli understood this tactic intuitively when he wrote that men judge more by appearances than by reality. In such places, appearances are engineered to keep you off balance. The psychological damage compounds because language is the primary tool of coordination. When your language is constantly sabotaged, your agency collapses. You spend energy managing perception instead of building leverage. The cost of mercy here is identity erosion. You stay because you believe patience will eventually earn clarity. It never does. The system is calibrated to keep you explaining forever. Sun Tzu warned that confusion in the army leads to victory for the enemy. Confusion in your environment leads to the same outcome. Walking away restores narrative control instantly. Silence ends the game. Power affirmation: I leave environments that profit from my confusion. Number two is the place where your growth is subtly punished. This environment does not attack you openly. It smiles. It congratulates you with tight jaws. It offers conditional support that disappears the moment you advance beyond an unspoken ceiling. The psychological threat here is envy disguised as community. Humans are hierarchical creatures. When you rise within a stagnant group, you become a mirror reflecting their inaction. That reflection creates discomfort, and discomfort seeks relief. The relief often comes in the form of sabotage, minimization, or social friction. Robert Greene captured this precisely when he wrote, "Never outshines the master," not as a moral rule, but as a survival observation. In places where the hierarchy is insecure, your improvement is treated as betrayal. Opportunities are withheld, information is delayed. Your mistakes are amplified while others are buried. The cost of mercy is arrested development. You stay because of history, familiarity, or fear of appearing ungrateful. Meanwhile, your potential decays. Machiavelli warned that those who rise by merit are often resented by those who rose by proximity. These environments do not want you to fail dramatically. They want you to plateau quietly. Walking away is not arrogance. It is refusing to be anesthetized. Power affirmation, I do not remain where my growth creates hostility. These two places are the most dangerous because they feel survivable. They do not burn you instantly. They drain you slowly. They convert your time into confusion and your ambition into friction. Leaving them feels uncomfortable because your nervous system has adapted to dysfunction. But power is not built where you are tolerated. It is built where clarity and momentum are allowed to compound. Walking away is the first act of strategic self-respect. Number 3 is the place where your usefulness exceeds your authority. This environment praises you endlessly while quietly denying you control. You are relied upon, consulted, leaned on, and exhausted, yet never truly empowered. Psychologically, this is one of the most sophisticated traps because it flatters the ego while draining the future. Humans mistake being needed for being valued. They are not the same. Being needed means your labor, intelligence, or emotional capacity is extracted. Being valued means your position is protected. Machiavelli understood this asymmetry when he warned that men more readily forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. People protect what gives them advantage, not what merely serves them. In these places, your competence becomes a resource others feel entitled to. You are rewarded with appreciation instead of advancement, gratitude instead of leverage. Over time, the environment restructures itself around your output while ensuring you remain replaceable. The psychological threat is learned over-functioning. You solve problems that should never have been yours. You stabilize systems that would otherwise be forced to evolve. Sun Tzu cautioned that there is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare, and prolonged overuse follows the same logic. The cost of mercy is disposability. Once your energy wanes or a cheaper alternative appears, loyalty evaporates. Walking away reclaims asymmetry. It forces systems to confront their own fragility. Power affirmation, I leave places that consume my usefulness without granting authority. Number 4 is the place where chaos is normalized and accountability is absent. This environment operates on emotional volatility, constant urgency, and perpetual crisis. Nothing is ever resolved, only recycled. The psychological danger here is nervous system capture. Humans adapt to instability faster than they realize. What once felt unacceptable begins to feel normal. You lower standards not because you agree, but because resistance becomes exhausting. Machiavelli recognized that disorder is not accidental. It is often preserved because it benefits those who thrive in confusion. He wrote that the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. In chaotic environments, rules change retroactively. Accountability is selective. Outcomes are disconnected from responsibility. This creates a fog where power concentrates upward while blame flows downward. The cost of mercy is psychological degradation. Your decision-making becomes reactive. Your long-term planning collapses under constant interruption. Sun Tzu warned that speed is the essence of war, but chaos destroys speed by scattering focus. Walking away from disorder is not avoidance. It is refusing to let instability rewrite your cognition. Power affirmation, I do not build my future inside chaos. These places do not announce themselves as toxic. They present as busy, important, even noble. They rely on your tolerance to survive. The moment you leave, the imbalance becomes visible. Walking away is not burning bridges, it is withdrawing fuel. Power grows where structure exists, where authority matches contribution, and where order allows foresight. The further you move from these places, the clearer your thinking becomes, and clarity is the precursor to dominance. Number 5 is the place where your boundaries are repeatedly tested and quietly erased. This environment never crosses the line all at once. It inches forward, it jokes first, then assumes, then demands. Each violation is small enough to rationalize, isolated enough to excuse. Psychologically, this is how dominance is reversed without conflict. Humans do not lose power dramatically, they surrender it incrementally. When boundaries are tested and not enforced, the test becomes a measurement. Others learn how much resistance exists, how much pressure is required, how far they can go without consequence. Machiavelli understood this dynamic when he wrote that injuries should be inflicted all at once, because slow harm trains tolerance. In these places, you are expected to be flexible, understanding, accommodating. Your discomfort is framed as oversensitivity. Your refusal is labeled selfishness. Over time, your sense of authorship erodes. You begin to ask for permission to protect yourself. The psychological threat is normalization of intrusion. Once your internal alarm system is dulled, exploitation no longer feels like exploitation. It feels like obligation. The cost of mercy is total accessibility. Your time, energy, and attention become public property. You are always reachable, always available, always compromising. Sun Tzu warned that he will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. And in boundaryless environments, you are always fighting unconsciously. Walking away is the only clean reset. Enforcement after erosion requires conflict. Departure requires none. Power affirmation: I leave places where my boundaries are negotiable. Number 6 is the place where loyalty is expected but never returned. This environment constantly emphasizes unity, family, brotherhood, or shared struggle, yet the moment pressure appears, support quietly disappears. Psychologically, this is one of the most destabilizing environments because it binds people through identity rather than fairness. Humans are naturally drawn to groups, and when belonging is framed as a moral obligation, leaving begins to feel like a personal failure rather than a rational decision. Machiavelli recognized this dynamic clearly when he warned that trust built purely on collective sentiment is unstable, not because people are malicious, but because allegiance shifts with circumstance. In these places, commitment moves in one direction. Sacrifice is expected from you, while protection flows elsewhere. When you need backing, you are reminded of procedures. When you need advocacy, you are asked to wait. Over time, you begin to notice that loyalty functions more as a demand than a mutual agreement. The psychological danger here is moral entanglement. You remain not because the environment supports you, but because leaving would force you to confront how much of your identity you invested in it. Shared history is mistaken for shared direction. Familiarity replaces evaluation. Robert Greene noted that imbalance persists longest where people fear loss of belonging more than loss of progress. The cost of misplaced mercy is isolation at the critical moment. When your value to the system decreases, commitment quietly dissolves. What once felt permanent becomes conditional. Walking away interrupts this pattern. It shifts your attention from promises to patterns, from language to behavior. Power affirmation: I reserve my loyalty for places that stand with me when it matters. These environments are rarely obvious. They are reinforced socially and emotionally. Others will encourage patience, endurance, and understanding, not because it benefits you, but because your presence maintains stability for them. Leaving disrupts that balance, which is why it feels risky. Yet power is never built by remaining where self-neglect is required for harmony. Each environment you exit sharpens your judgment. You begin to identify imbalance faster. You stop bargaining with systems that depend on your stagnation. The final illusion this place reveals is the belief that staying is proof of strength. In reality, staying demonstrates tolerance. Walking away, number 7, is the place where your future is perpetually postponed. This environment does not openly deny you advancement. It delays it indefinitely. There is always a reason. Timing is not right. Circumstances are complicated. Things will change soon. You are asked to wait, to trust, to endure just a little longer. Psychologically, this is the most lethal place of all because it feeds on hope. Hope is renewable, and that makes it exploitable. Humans will tolerate almost anything if they believe relief is coming. This is why prisons run on sentences and systems of power run on promises. Machiavelli understood the danger of deferred power when he observed that men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their inheritance. The future you are promised becomes your inheritance, and its constant delay keeps you compliant. You do not rebel because you are invested. You do not leave because you are almost there. Almost becomes a key. The psychological threat in this place is temporal theft. Time is the only non-renewable asset you possess, and environments that specialize in delay drain it without triggering immediate pain. Unlike chaos or disrespect, stagnation feels safe, it feels patient, it feels responsible. But under the surface, something darker is happening. Your risk tolerance decreases the longer you wait. Your identity fuses with the environment. Your imagination narrows to what is available there. You stop exploring alternatives because doing so would force you to admit how much time has already been spent. This is the sunk cost trap weaponized at an environmental level. Robert Greene warned that the more you invest in a relationship, the harder it becomes to see its flaws. The same applies to places. The longer you stay, the more leaving feels like erasing a chapter of yourself. Historically, this is how courts, institutions, and empires neutralized ambitious men without ever confronting them. They were given titles without power, roles without authority, futures without dates. They were kept close, hopeful, and harmless. Sun Tzu warned that there is no greater danger than underestimating your enemy. And delay is one of the most underestimated weapons. It requires no force, it provokes no resistance, it simply waits for entropy to do the work. In modern life, this appears as careers that never quite advance, relationships that never quite commit, communities that never quite change. You are always on the verge, and the verge becomes your permanent address. The cost of mercy here is irreversible opportunity loss. While you wait, others move. While you are patient, others take risks. While you honor the process, others redesign it. By the time you realize nothing is coming, your leverage has decayed. Your energy has been spent maintaining relevance in a place that never intended to fully reward you. Machiavelli would recognize this instantly. He knew that power delayed is power denied. Fortune favors decisiveness because decisiveness compresses time. Waiting expands it until advantage dissolves. Mercy toward false promises is cruelty toward your own future. Walking away from this place is the hardest because nothing is overtly wrong. There is no villain, no scandal, no dramatic betrayal. There is only drift. Leaving feels irrational to outsiders. They will call you impatient. They will say you gave up too soon. They will remind you how close you were. But power does not answer to proximity. It answers to position. And a position that never materializes is not a position at all. It is bait. When you walk away from delayed futures, something violent happens in the system you leave behind. Timplines collapse, justifications evaporate, you expose the truth without speaking it, and something equally important happens inside you. Your sense of agency returns. You remember that movement itself creates leverage. You stop outsourcing your future to other people's schedules, approvals, and comfort. You reclaim time as a strategic weapon. Machiavelli's philosophy was never about domination for its own sake. It was about refusing to be neutralized by comfort, hope, or morality when those things were used as restraints. The power of walking away is not in the exit itself. It is in the signal it sends to reality. It says you are not available for slow erosion. You are not loyal to places that require your stagnation. You are not patient with systems that benefit from your delay. This completes the map. The 7 places you must leave are not defined by geography. They are defined by pattern. Confusion, hostility toward growth, extractive usefulness, normalized chaos, erased boundaries, one-sided loyalty, and endless delay. Each one consumes power differently, but all of them rely on the same fuel: your willingness to stay longer than is strategic. Walking away is not emotional, it is mathematical. It is the recognition that environments compound just like investments. Bad ones compound quietly, good ones compound violently. The moment you remove yourself from places that drain you, something shifts. Your decisions sharpen, your energy consolidates, your presence begins to carry weight again. Predators stop circling because there is nothing exposed. You are no longer prey because you no longer linger where predators feed. Power affirmation: I walk away from places that delay my future. This is the power of walking away, not escape, not avoidance, sovereignty.